Hey, Darcy. Oh, he's so tall. He's so tall. That's such a good boy. Hello again, friends. Welcome back. What's up, dog? Nope. Hello again, friends. Welcome back to Hobart's Library. My name is Emily, and we are so happy to have you here again. Today, we're gonna ignore how long I've been gone again. Listen, here's what I'm gonna say. I got a promotion at work, which means I'm working a lot. And may I just say, managers don't have lives outside of work, as it would turn out. I already worked a lot before I got promoted. Don't get me wrong, I love my job, I love my coworkers, I love the place that I work. But I don't have a life outside of work. I go to work, I go to church, I take care of my animals, and I just try not to lose my mind. Just know, if I'm ever like quitting YouTube completely, I will let you know. So if you have not heard anything about me quitting completely, it means I am gonna be back. And if you haven't heard from me, just call my place of work, because that's where I'm at. So Celeste tagged me in the Once Upon Another Time book tag, and I'm super excited about it because it sounds like super interesting. Like, the questions are actually very unique and interesting questions, so I was really excited to do it. And I'm really sorry that I haven't done it yet. Celeste, if you're watching, I'm really sorry that I haven't gotten to it yet. It's been in the back of my mind. Every time I've had like a free moment, I thought like, could I film right now? And then I thought, I cannot imagine doing anything other than what I am doing right now. I haven't really, I guess at the same time, I was about to say I don't manage my time well, but I think rest is really important, and I don't have a lot of time to just lie down because I also do a lot of our house chores myself. So I don't have time to just sort of relax a lot. So I think it's okay to take that time when I have it, but right now I have some time that I can do this, and I'm very excited about it. So let's get into our first question. So the first question is, name your favorite Christian novel from another time. I'm assuming this means like written in another time, not like the story is based in another time period. And I kind of have a hard time figuring that one out because I haven't read a lot of like old Christian books at all. I think a lot of like, how do I put this? I think a lot of older books are Christian by default because more people in civilization were Christians. So like, I would consider Dracula almost like a Christian fiction book, not because it's necessarily Christian, but because the morals of that time were shaped by Christian values. And so the things that they describe as evil and that they viewed as evil were things that were biblically evil, and that's how the character of Dracula seems to be formed, and the things that they valued as good are things that are morally good as put out in the Bible. So for that reason, like, I would say Dracula probably, but if we weren't gonna consider that one, which I think we should, but if we weren't going to, I guess I'd have to go with the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. It is definitely a book that I think you have to get into slowly and take your time reading it, because I had to take my time reading it. It stressed me out. The Screw Tape Letters is a fictional work by C.S. Lewis. that's basically, if you hear the sound of a drill or a hammer or, in this case, a saw blade running in the background, there is nothing I can do about that. Trust me, I have asked my dad to stop for like 10 minutes earlier today so that me and my friends could have a Bible study. He said no. So, we're just gonna have to deal with it. He's got stuff he has to get done. So if you hear that kind of stuff in the background, try to ignore it. I'll try to edit it as much as I can. Screwtape Letters is a work of fiction by C.S. Lewis that is essentially letters written between a demon and his nephew. Basically where the uncle demon, whose name is Screwtape, is advising his nephew on how to capture human souls and hold on to them. And it is a real humdinger, let me tell you. It is a rough read. It took me weeks, I think, to like I think I started that book and didn't finish it for a few years, didn't even touch it for a few years, and then finished it later on, because it was a tough book to read. It was very dark, but also very, very good. So highly recommend that book, but it's you know, take your time. The next question is, name a historical couple whose love would last in today's time. And that is really, really, really hard, because today's time sucks. Romance-wise, I think everybody can agree with that. We are in a terrible time to be trying to find a romantic partner. We are in a terrible time. Like, there is a war on marriage. There is a serious war on the family unit. It is, I hate to say it this way, but it is increasingly difficult to remain faithful today because there is no shame. There is, sexual immorality runs rampant, and I'm not saying that there was a time that it didn't. We as human beings have always been human beings, but it is so open and available and accessible everywhere in our everyday commercials on television. It's like they say, sex sells. And for that reason, it's used in marketing, it's used in TV shows, even like there's innuendos in children's shows. I think it is increasingly hard in our day and age to find like super solid couples who don't have any issues in this regard. But I'm going to mention, I'm gonna go with, I think, my fave couple from one of my absolute fave books. And that couple is Sophie DuPont and Captain Stephen Overtree from The Painter's Daughter. If you've watched a few of my videos recently, you know how much I love this book and how much I love this couple. Oh my gosh. Julie Clason or Clayson, I don't know. She writes such well-rounded books. It's never just a romance. It's like the characters are so deep and they go through so much. And the fact that they went through so much during the course of this book kind of shows me that like they could probably survive in modern times. I think that they would be able to face our world and still be madly in love. Because their love was so not surface level. And, oh, I love that book. I've got to reread that book sometime because I miss those characters now that I'm thinking about them. But I only read it last year. Then again, I read Jane Austen like every year. I read Pride and Prejudice and Emma like every single year on rotation. Okay, the next question is, name a couple from a contemporary Christian novel that would survive in the past. Interestingly enough, this one is way more difficult for me because, I don't know, modern couples just seem so weak. Okay, that sounds terrible. They just do. They seem so weak comparatively. I know that sounds bad. It is bad, but, you know, it's bad and it's true. Just ran out of storage on my phone and had to delete a bunch of stuff. Whoops. I feel like a lot of the modern couples, they haven't gone through as much. They haven't gone through as much. I mean, Stephen and Sophie went through war. Modern couples, they went through a misunderstanding because they didn't communicate properly. I've read so many of those recently. The fact that I cannot think of one is absurd. Okay, I think this book is based in like the 80s or the 90s, but I am counting it. And before I tell you the couple, I'm going to say, spoiler alert for The Atonement Child by Francine Rivers. So just fast forward until I'm no longer holding the book up. So Dinah and Joe are like the couple that I would hope for Sweet Poor Dinah. This book is about a young woman, a college student named Dinah, who is raped and becomes pregnant from that rape. And it is sort of her story of her and the baby, and it talks about abortion, it talks about family, it talks about... It's a really heavy book. It's another really, really hard book to get through, but if there was a modern couple that would survive in times past, I would say Joe and Dinah from The Atonement Child. I really, really loved this book. I think it's been a couple years since I read it, and I might reread it this year. I'm not sure yet. Okay, the next question is, share your favorite setting from a fictional Christian book that you would love to spend one day in. That's so hard because all of like the fictional settings, like, people are dying. Like, they're not having a good time. You know what? Wait, because I was thinking about like the Hagenheim series, but like, would I actually want to be alive in the Middle Ages? No, I would not. I would hate that. Even for just one day. You mean I have to pee in the woods? Do you know to this day I can't pee in the woods? How am I supposed to do that? You mean I gotta, like, not have underwear? They didn't... I don't think they had underwear. I think they had, like blousey... You know what I'm talking about? Those, bloomers or whatever. Or they were like pants, right? They look... I'm pretty sure I watched a video on, like, medieval undergarments, and they were like pants. Man, this is tough. I have one series that's based in the future, but it also sounds like it would suck. I would just hate to live in that time. Is there a good time to be alive? There's like ones based in biblical times that I've read about. Would I enjoy that? No! That sounds awful. Every time in history is a bad time to be alive. There's just so many bad things that happen in all of these books. Okay, I've thought about it. And I think I'm going to go with a classic, of course. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I think I would like to walk around in their beautiful time, in their wonderful clothes. I would love to wear clothes from, like, the 1800s. I would love that. What I'd really love... Do I have any books written in, like, 1880? Because I love the fashion from 1880. But at the same time, it would also have to be the setting, because I have some books that were written in, like, that were based in, like, 1886-ish, but the setting sucks. The setting is terrible. The setting is not a place that I would want to be. But the time period is so wonderful. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go with, like, Pride and Prejudice or Emma, because I mean, that sounds like it'd be a delightful place to walk around and to just exist in for a day, but not have to stay. Because, again, the bathroom situation. Like, the bathroom situation and the undergarment situation. I'm sorry, I cannot do it. However, I do dispel the myth that people in that time period did not bathe. They did. They just did it differently from how we do it. We get to take full baths, and they took, like, partial sort of, like, wash basin baths, but they did it daily. So that isn't really my concern. It's more of... I don't know. I feel like I'd embarrass myself for sure, and if I was going to embarrass myself, I don't want to do it amongst polite society. I guess I could just hang out with the Lucases, because they seem like they're not polite society. Judging by what Mrs. Bennet has to say about the Lucases. They're not polite society anyway. No, it would be fun. I think that's what I'm going to go with, because all the other ones sound scary, honestly. I've got a bunch of books based in, like, the Wild West, and it's like, would I love to meet a cowboy? Yeah, but I'm only there for a day. So... Would I love to meet a knight in the Hagenheim series? Of course. But again, I'm only there for a day. So really it's not, like, worth it. Not if I have to pee in the woods. So. Okay. The last question is, name a Christian booktuber who you can see hanging out. Let's see.
who you can see hanging out with a character from what book and why. This is a very interesting question, and it's very personable and very difficult. I'm gonna think about that one too, because it's kind of hard. I'm gonna say a couple people. So the first one I'm gonna go with is, of course, Celestra, who tagged me. I can see her hanging out with Edith from Dear Henry, love Edith.
Edith is a bubbly, sweet, young woman. She's been through a lot, but she's still very optimistic. She's very philanthropic. She wants to help people. And she's also very, like, she's just sort of, like, chill and laid back. Like, she seems like she'd be a lot of fun to hang out with, and I think her and Celestra would get along really, really well. Okay, this one is gonna sound, like, a little bit weird, so just, like, go on a little journey with me. I feel like Oshina would get along really well with, what is the name of Emma's, like, her, you know, the woman who helped raise Emma after her mom died. That woman. Mrs. I can't think of her name right now. But she was really, really sweet, and she really, really loved Emma, but she also tried her best to raise Emma to be, like, a respectable young lady, and I feel like Oshina really fits into that vibe of, like, can be a lot of fun, is very nice, but also likes rules, and also likes things to be, like, just so. So I feel like if they hung out, I feel like they would just have a really good time just reading together. Like, it would just be like they would talk about books, they would talk about reading, they would talk about Emma, and it would be a really good time. I feel like they would get along really well. I also feel like Lindsay from BFCG would be such a good influence on Emma, now that I'm thinking about it. She would be such a good influence on Emma from Emma, of course, by Jane Austen. I feel like I would love to see that duo get together. That would be excellent. I would love to see them be friends, because Emma needs a young lady who is, like, who has her head screwed on straight, and Lindsay would really, like, in a gentle, loving, kind way, mentally smack the tar out of her. Like, get it together, girlfriend. You have got to stop being in everybody else's business. Alright, so we are now done with the tag, which is kind of a bummer, but it was a lot of fun, and I really liked coming up with answers for these super unique questions. We don't have a lot of, like, book tags that are like this. This one is, like, I feel like this one was very unique. So, of course, I'm tagging everyone who is watching, but I also would like for you guys to tag your favorite booktubers down in the comments so that I can go check them out, so that I actually have people to tag when I do these kinds of things. I can't tag the same 2 people over and over and over again, or else they're not going to want to interact with me anymore, because it'll get weird. It's going to get weird. So you let me know who you think that I should check out, and I would be so excited to do that so that I can make some more friends. Alright, it was so awesome talking to you guys again here at Hobart's Library, even though I did have some technical difficulties with my stupid phone not wanting to record. I had to go in and delete, like, over 1,000 items. I had to shut my phone off completely and restart it. So we've had some technical difficulties, but doggone it, we got there. So, it was so nice having you here again at Hobart's Library, and I hope to see you guys next time.